So are you a boss or a leader? Stay tuned. Hey folks, this is Kim. Welcome to livemorenow.net. Quick side note, if you like this video and want to receive updates, please be sure to click the subscribe button within this video. Now, in last week's video, I started to touch on qualities of leadership, particularly providing a bigger picture, objective perspective to your employees. However, there are many qualities that differentiate a boss from a leader. Now, I've worked for many different types of managers, some better than others, but the leaders that I've worked for left me inspired to do better, strive to do more, and strive for success. So on that note, I want to talk today about what I would consider the 3 top most differentiating characteristics. Starting with number 1, intimidation versus inspiration. Rather than intimidate with punitive measures, a true leader sees the need to explain why we are doing things the way we're doing it and the positive results it will yield if they follow your lead. Now, don't get me wrong, unfortunately, sometimes punitive measures are required to resolve an issue, but this should never be a manager's go-to position. If you have an employee who's struggling with a particular procedure or policy, then you need to spend some one-on-one time with that person and understand what obstacles might be in their way, preventing them from completing the task at hand. Number 2, micromanagement versus autonomy. Now, some managers tend to lean toward micromanagement, especially those who employ intimidation tactics. But if all you're seeing is the negatives and criticizing your team, or if your team feels like they need to raise their hand before they use the bathroom, you're going to come into a couple different problems. Number 1, you're going to ruin morale and might find yourself struggling to retain good, strong employees. And number 2, you're going to stunt your own professional growth. As your position grows in scope, you're going to have less and less time to be involved in the day-to-day nitpicky details, and you'll need employees who are capable of making some decisions on their own. Now, a couple rules that I live by as a manager. Number 1, I always tell my employees that I will stand by their decisions as long as they stay honest with me. Number 2, mistakes are okay as long as they're not repeat mistakes. And what I find most importantly is when an employee comes to me with a sticky situation or a problem or a challenge, whatever, my first tactic is to ask them what they see as a possible solution. And again, getting their juices flowing and hopefully allowing them to take some of those calculated risks and making decisions on their own. Now, I want to be involved as a resource to my team when they need me, but I also want to give them the breathing room, again, to make some of their own decisions. Number 3, hearing versus listening. Now, there is a difference between hearing someone and actually listening. If you're just hearing your employees, you're not soliciting feedback, you're not asking questions, and ultimately not taking any action, then again, you're going to run into a morale issue. To me, there's nothing more frustrating than if I bring an issue to my boss, and at times in the past where, again, I bring out a well thought out issue and nothing actually comes about. A couple things are going to happen here. Not only does that employee still have that issue at hand, but now you've lost credibility with your employee, and you could be developing a trust issue where they can't trust you to help them or to be a resource to them. So again, if you want to be a leader, you need to be asking those questions and working on objectives and milestones to help resolve that situation. Sometimes the resolution is as simple as explaining the why to the employee, which kind of goes back to number 1. But if you explain to the employee that, yeah, I hear you, I know that this is a challenge. Unfortunately, the system is such that this is the only way we can do this for now, but here's what's on the horizon that we're working on to fix this. We recognize this is a situation. At least that employee, again, feels like you took the time to listen and address their concern. So in closing, folks, while I am definitely far from perfect as a leader, it's always my goal to lead. And one of the main things that I always try to keep a hold on is to treat my employees like a customer. And that's not to say that the customer is always right, but it's my job to be a resource to them, to provide support, to educate them, and to set the expectations. Sadly, sometimes it makes the most sense to sever ties with some of our customers if it's no longer mutually beneficial. But again, this is always the last resort. Like I said in the beginning, if you like what you saw, please click subscribe. Please post any comments that you have in the section comment below. Thank you so much for visiting livemorenow.net.